Today you see 2 shirts, 1 shirt dress, all using the Aria button down, which makes it a total of 5 makes for me. Excited to share these new ones. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing. Super excited to share 3 new versions of the Aria button down. Last week for the release, I showed you a video that featured these 2 versions. This one in a light cotton, this one in a very transparent and light and airy chiffon. Of course, I hadn't gotten the pattern out of my system with just 2 makes because for weeks I'd been thinking I want to make this. Like I would have made 10, okay? I've ended up making 5 and I have 3 new ones to share. I've already made a lot of content that is going to help you put these patterns together, and also many other shirt patterns because they share a lot of features. So you've already seen on the channel how to sew the all-in-one collar. You've seen how to sew the sleeve plackets. I've got videos on sewing the yokes, the burrito method, how to set in woven sleeves. So much to see on the channel, and I've put it all in a playlist that is going to help you sew shirts and blouses. All the techniques are there, and as always I've researched and based on my own experience also. I really want to bring you the best techniques that are going to give you amazing results, that are really practical and doable for you, all with really up close sewing footage and the teaching style that you like. So I've got a lot for you to be able to make your own shirts. Super excited to hear back from you when you start doing this. It makes me really happy to have a tiny bit of input for you. Yeah, that's why I have this channel. Also today, the 2nd of May, is the last day the Aria button down is on sale. It's the last day you can purchase the course and get the pattern included for free. You can also just purchase the pattern on its own. So from Tuesday onwards, if you buy the Aria course, you would have to purchase the pattern separately. Today is the first day of the spring sale for Love Notions. It's 40% off site-wide, but it does not include the Aria because this is the last day of its release week, so it won't be included in the 40% off sale. You can still get 28% off, which is still amazing. Please see my previous video on the Aria for all the technical things like sizing and fabrics and fitting adjustments, because that is all in the previous video. In this one I want to focus on the 3 new versions. The first one you'll see is made with a crepe. That is sort of the heaviest fabrics I've chosen for all my versions, and it's got houndstooth print on it and I absolutely love it. I decided to make all the features with contrast color, the banded collar, the placket, the sleeve placket, the cuffs, so you can really see them. I love the combination of fabrics there, and it's a really formal one, the most formal one of them all, I suppose. Another one I made is with linen rayon blend. It's also a pretty heavy fabric, very structured, very easy to work with. And for that one I chose a sleeveless version with a banded collar, and I have a lighter layer of fabric on the inside to avoid bulk. That is another one you'll see. And the best for last, the one that makes me smile the most, is my purple shirt dress. Love it so much. I made it sleeveless with the waist casing option. I lengthened it a little bit so it would hit above my knee, and it's just so beautiful. The color is just amazing. If you saw my sleeve tower placket video, you would have seen a sneak peek of the fabrics I used for this Aria. Long sleeve. This is a heavier weight crepe. It's not sheer at all. Very easy to work with. It's got an amazing drape even while being medium to heavy weight. And for contrast I used rayon linen blend for the banded collar and the placket. Also these details and the cuff. Look how gorgeous this placket turned out, and this cuff is so beautiful. I do have functional buttonholes. There are 2 little pleats right there in the cuff that I had to see because of the print. And this collar band, because the fabric is a little floppier than others, it's not going to hold up that well, but I'm still not going to wear it closed. I think it still drapes nicely, and I really love these colors. I wanted this blouse to be a little bit more dressed up. I have my bust out there where the houndstooth get a little distorted. I did the hem by hand. I really didn't want to have white or black thread go through the bottom. I think it would have ruined the look. It's serged on the edge, folded up and hand sewn. And because I had time and the thread, I serged that little area of the placket with green serger thread, and then I picked up black over here just to be extra, you know, why not? This is how it looks inside. It's really pretty. For this one, because the wrong side of the fabric is really different to the right side, it was super important for me to understitch in this area. So you can see a peek of the green placket from the wrong side. That means that you're not going to see it from the right side. Because this fabric was heavier, I didn't really want to use 2 layers for the yoke. So I used the rayon linen blend, which is a lighter weight fabric, to contrast. No one's going to see it, but I know it's there, and it feels super nice on, super soft. You can't even see that the collar is there. because it's the same fabric. And the inside of the placket is so pretty on the inside as it is on the outside. There is the box pleat on the back that you can see. Why did I contrast with green? My instinct was to do it with black or red, but I just recently got green shoes and a green leather handbag, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it with green. Let's see it on. I made another long sleeve Aria, this time in a heavier crepe with houndstooth. Love that. And I made all the contrast details in a rayon linen blend in green. I'm just really liking green at the moment, and I wanted to highlight the features there against the houndstooth. Really lovely. This one's 2 inches longer than the original, has a nice comfortable amount of ease that you can see here up closer. There's a lot of wind right now. The fabric is quite drapey though, so it's really lovely. You can see the curved hem there. Up closer, here are the tower plackets on the long sleeve. I love that detail. It's very neatly sewn, and I think it looks amazing in the green. The cuffs are really neat. I would have loved to put 2 buttons on the cuff, but I didn't have enough buttons. Up closer you can see my banded collar option. I really like it. It's really pretty. I would wear it open most of the time, I think, but I can close it, but it's not going to constrict my neck. But visually I like it open much better. Very neat. It's lying really flat, and I'm really happy how that looks. Here's a closer look at my neckline and my metal buttons. I think they're really pretty. Here is the yoke. I have a lighter layer inside, and another look at my placket that I'm so proud of. You can see how to sew that on the video on my channel, of course. I've shown that in great detail. I do have the full bust option with the bust dart, and I'm really happy with the fit here. This is a slightly more formal type of blouse. I love it. I know I could wear this open also, but I've just styled it with a skirt here and some green shoes. Love it. So I'm going to show you one that has a more structured fabric. This is a linen rayon blend. It's, I think, 55% linen, 45% rayon. It's quite medium to heavyweight, very, very structured. Very me, very black and white, and this one's really pretty. For this one I also use the banded collar. I do have both layers interfaced, and you can see how this one is different to the one I've shown you previously. With the rayon linen blend, it stands up on its own really, really well. Very structured fabric, super easy to work with. I really, really like those buttons there. I think they're really pretty. I use satin bias tape that I bought from the shop, and the armhole is nicely top stitched there. I did raise the armhole by 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch right there. Personal preference is just because I like a really closed armhole, and I tend to just make armholes smaller when I know I'm going to make something sleeveless, and then I try it on and see if it was correct. If it's too high, then I can trim it away, but I really can't add fabric once I've cut it, so I'd rather be on the safe side. Because this fabric is heavy also, I used really light satin type of lining inside for the yoke, which feels really nice on. It looks pretty, and it doesn't give you that bulk that 2 layers of linen would have given you. Plus, I didn't have enough to cut out another layer of yoke because I made this with a yard, so I'm always willing to do a yoke inside with something else. That's always something I'm very happy to do. It doesn't cause me any stress or grief, nothing like that. And it matches the bias tape that I have in there also, that is the same type of material. That's how it looks inside. For this one I have seam allowances that have been pressed open very neatly. So nice to work with. I've sewn this one with a machine. Also, I didn't fold this one up twice. I just folded it up once. And it's due to the weight of the fabric. The versions I made with lightweight cotton and the chiffon version, no drama, I folded it up twice. But for this one, only once. For the houndstooth one also. Actually, for all the ones I'm going to show you, I've just folded it up once. I've paired it with a black skirt that everyone asks me what the pattern is, and I just don't have a pattern for it because I made it myself with my own measurements. So I'm sorry, you can't purchase a pattern for it. But it goes with everything, and it goes with this one perfect. I made another Aria shirt. This is the heaviest and most structured fabric I've used. It's a linen rayon blend. Love it, in black and white. This one is sleeveless. It is 2 inches longer than the original, and I really like the feel of this one. I have the banded collar option. There's zero flow in this fabric, but the design doesn't need it. Here you can see the details up close. I've got the same amount of ease. It's just a more structured look, which I also like, and especially in this black and white print. My banded collar here, you can see it closed. I would wear it open, and because it's a heavier fabric, it stands up a lot on its own. I think it looks really pretty that way. There is my yoke. I also used a lighter fabric for the inner yoke layer to avoid bulk. Very happy. And here it is up closer. You can see it's not really touching my neck. There is a nice amount of space there. So happy with this one. It's very nice. I know this one I can also wear it open like a light layer. Black and white, a classic, you can't go wrong. I really like it. Other than how you saw it styled here, a little bit more dressed up, I know I'm going to wear this one open over something like a little light layer. I love these sleeveless things to wear on top of clothes, and this could perfectly be worn open as well. So happy. I mean, this is just totally me all over it, and just looking at it makes me really happy. Before I show you my purple dress, I have some extra sewing content here for you that wasn't included with the other versions because I hadn't sewn those things before. So you will see how I sewed on my waist casing. I did that at the very end once the dress was done, even after it had been hemmed and everything. I made my casing a little wider than what the pattern suggested. In the pattern, they give you measurements that you cut out a really long strip. That would end up in the casing being about 3/4 of an inch wide, and I wanted mine an inch wide, just a little bit wider. Just her personal preference. I am a taller, bigger person, and I tend to find that tiny details like that don't suit me that much, so I tend to make them a little bit bigger. So that's what I've done. All I did was measure an inch long and then add 3/8 above and 3/8 underneath so that I could have seam allowance to fold it in. Super easy, that's the only change. And for the drawstring, I cut the same long piece to 1.5 inches, folded it lengthwise, sewed the whole long thing and turned it right sides out with a little safety pin. That is all. Nothing really that hard, but let's see how I determined where it was going to be placed and how I sewed it. I have my dress laid out on the table, folded, and you can see chalk marks. I got these marks from trying on the dress, putting an elastic around my waist just to mark where my waist is. You can see it slants down a little bit lower in the front. That's to account for the extra length that my bust is going to make. You can see I've taken the time to hand baste my casing on all the way from one side to the other. It did take me a little while to do, but it's very neat, and I'm sure it's going to look very nice once sewn.
What I did here was fold it in and then top stitch it
so that I have a clean edge right there, and then I'm going to sew there, and that's going to finish the edge. You can see how it's been folded in that way. When I sew, I'm going to stop there, I'm going to stop there, and this will be open, and that's where the drawstring is going to go through. When you sew the tunic and the dress, there is an extra detail on the side seams that the shirt length doesn't have. That's why you haven't seen it, because so far you've seen only shirt lengths, and that is a vent on the side, so you have a little bit of extra seam allowance and fabric there on the sides to be able to create that vent. And my dress has it, so I thought, why not film it? So here it is, so you can see how to sew the vent. It's super easy, and it turns out being super neat inside. This is the side seam of the dress, and it's longer than the shirts. Of course, you'll find something similar with the tunic, and at the bottom you will see extra fabric because that is to finish the vents on the side. for both the tunic and the dress, you do need to finish your side seams separately before sewing the side seam due to the way that the vent is going to come together. You have a little rectangle area, but I was able to serge all that in one go, just coming down from the top and then making a slight curve. This other edge of the vent that you see raw here does not need to be finished because it will be folded in and it will be clean anyway. You'll find a dot on the pattern, and that is where you need to finish sewing and reinforce, and then the rest will be folded and it will form the vent. I have just sewn the side seam. I have pressed all this raw area. Seam allowances on the side seams will be separate, open. And now I'm going to take the raw edge and fold it in to meet that fold, and the same on this side. And that's how everything gets finished really neatly. This is folded in twice. Later on, when I'm at the stages of the hem, I'm going to fold the hem up and fold this back out like that. I think that's the cleanest way to do it right there. Now all that needs to happen with this is do some top stitching to fix this in place right there. I've got the hem and the vent to sew at the same time, and I've hand basted it. So this was folded in at the iron as you saw, but I folded up the hem first because I don't want this to be bulky and this fabric is a little medium weight. I don't want to fold it up twice like I did with my lighter weight versions. So I just serged the edge and folded up once and then did my 2 folds right there. So this will be continuous. Also here on the center front, I've done all this area by hand right there, and I'll start sewing after the placket and then pivot and do everything in one go. This is how it looks on the inside. So that is how my little vents look inside. I have to rip out the basting stitches, but it's very neat and it was done in one go. Now you'll see the dress. It's really hard for me to be able to manipulate the camera or work it in a way that will show you the actual purple. Really hard to film because it really looks like a dark pink. Anyway, I hope you see it purple the way I see it with my eyes because the color is so beautiful. I saved my special color for last, and up to now I've shown you 4 shirt lengths. They've all been shirts, but I could not go past this pattern release without making the dress, of course. So this one is sleeveless, it's purple. What's not to love? For this one I used the all-in-one collar and stand, which I really enjoy. It's really nice there. As you can see inside, I do have another layer of fabric, another color. I just did that for fun. It's not because I didn't have enough fabric or because this fabric was too heavy. And I made a little bit of bias tape with that same type of fabric to put inside. So these are things that I would do for my own happiness when I look at the dress. When I see it like this, it looks so pretty. Even though that print is inside, this is a gift for myself. And it also makes me really happy to use up these scraps of beautiful fabric that I have tucked away for things like this. Lovely bias tape, love it. I think it looks really pretty. And because it's been understitched and everything, no one's gonna know. Like, I'm gonna wear it and you're not gonna see the contrast color peeking out. So many buttons, oh my gosh, so many buttons, 14 buttons. You can really see the bust dart right there. It fits really well. And I have the exposed casing, which I think is really pretty. I've got a drawstring. Now my exposed casing is a little wider than what the pattern suggested. Mine has a finished width of 1 inch, and I also made the drawstring just a little bit wider, just personal preference. Now one trick that I do that you saw was that I have elastic here on the back. That's why it's always going to be really neatly gathered. And then on the front, I have the fabric drawstring that I can sort of manipulate there and adjust. This is the side vent, very pretty with the hem. This one also, I've just folded the hem up once and serged it, and I did the hem and the vent all in one go continuously. I think you can really see that pleat with the gathers right there. What I like about this exposed casing is that it's sewn onto the dress itself. There's no separate waist seam, which makes it much more comfortable because inside you have nothing there. It's all smooth. That's how the exposed casing looks inside. There's no fabric, nothing. It's just the seams that you can see there, with the elastic or the drawstring tucked in there. So I love that. My pretty yoke. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. My pretty bias tape. Love that. And then everything else is so neat. I really love this style of dress. It's so nice, so comfortable, the way that you can adjust everything. Let's see it on. This is my Aria shirt dress. I made it in a purple rayon linen blend. Believe me, it's darker purple than what you see. I have the exposed casing and drawstring at the waist and the all-in-one collar stand. It's sleeveless and you'll see the details up close. The fabric is so soft and flowy. Here you can see the exposed casing up closer. It's so comfortable because it's sewn onto the dress, so you don't feel any seams inside, and you can adjust it to have a little bit of waist definition. On the side you can see the vent. There's a curved hem, and I made my dress 2 inches longer than the original so that it's above my knee. Here you can see the all-in-one collar and stand. There's really neat top stitching. I think the coverage on the armhole is really good. Here's a closer look at the collar stand and collar, and the yoke at the back is in 2 layers with a burrito method. You can see the inverted box pleat there, and I'm just so happy with this dress. It feels amazing on. It's a dream shirt dress in my favorite color. In the photos you'll see next, you'll be able to see the real purple color, not the one that you see here. So happy with my 3 new versions. I think they're all pretty. This is my favorite one, of course, just because it's purple, and I think purple is amazing. The feel of it is so nice. This one also very formal one, but I do dress like that and I love it. And then this one can be worn like a little jacket, also open. So nice. I love adapting my choices to the fabric, like using lighter materials for the yoke for this one and that one because they were heavier. And then with this one, I did use another yoke just for my happiness inside, because why not? So I'm just so happy with my shirts. I think the Aria is a great pattern. I think you'll be really happy and you'll get many of them. Just the fact that the collar is a lot more doable if you're newer to sewing, because it's so much easier with the all-in-one collar and stand than the traditional one that has the separate pieces. Of course, you can work yourself up to sewing a type of shirt like that, but it's nice to start with a pattern like this that was made with you in mind, that hasn't sewn a shirt before. Remember, today, Monday, is the last day you can get it on its release week with a discounted price. From tomorrow onwards, it'll be a regular price. And also today, the spring sale is happening, so don't think that you can get the Aria in the 40% off, because it's not included in the 40% off sale. But today's the last day, you can get it 28% off. I'll link all the information I have for you in the description box. Blog post is a one-stop click for everything. All the sewing videos, all the technique videos, all the photos, all the versions. So have a look at that. It's a really nice post. It took me ages to make, so I hope you have a look. You'll find my affiliate link also down below you can use if you want to support the work that I do here on YouTube. That's all from me. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.